Yeah, you can keep going. Talk about your cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Oh, I love it because I figured out the way that I can actually convince Jerry that we should start an episode is I start talking about something he's not interested in. Because usually just to take people behind the scenes, this is how it always goes. And we should honestly, the second we like get backstage, we should just hit go live because we have some of the best conversations when we're not even live.
Yeah,
And
I'm telling you.
but everyone who listens to this and watches this knows this. Jerry is quite a talker. So what always happens in we start to have these conversations backstage, and then whenever I'm like, all right, let's start the episode, Jerry goes off on another backstage side topic, and we never start. So then as soon as I start talking about crypto and the Lightning Network and Twitter tipping, Jerry's like, all right, we're going live. I'm tired of this.
Fucking crypto, man. Oh, God. Let's just... Are we going straight into this amazing Italy game today? Because that was a masterful performance from the Azzurri. Like, I honestly had no interest watching this game today. Like, I was watching it.
You weren't interested in the prestigious UEFA Nations League semifinal? You weren't interested in that? This is the biggest game since the Euro final, Jerry. How dare you?
It felt weird not having Immobile in the lineup.
Oh, that's why you weren't interested. Now I see.
I'm kind of biased. I'll be honest. I'm biased.
Kind of biased, Jerry.
Do you like him or something? Does he play for a team that you like?
It's not because
I heard some team in blue on the other side of Rome.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just that I like Nando said. Like Nando said on Twitter, our buddy that we have here, he said it perfect. When Immobile plays, like there's something more. I want to watch the game. I want to see him achieve and prove people wrong, which I'm the only one by myself in the corner being proven wrong.
Jerry, I can confidently tell you he would have had the same number of goals today had he been in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, you're not happy to see Moise Kean doing the,
Hold on.
his selly?
Let's just get something straight. When Immobile was in the lineup, they beat Spain. When he's not in the lineup, they lost.
They're playing a Mickey trophy. This is not a real trophy. It's made of plastic and glue.
I don't care. No. I'm gonna be the guy who's gonna say that people say, "Oh, Coppa Italia is irrelevant. A Super Coppa Italiana is irrelevant. Nations League is irrelevant." When you go on the pitch and you play a game, it doesn't matter what it is. These players are playing for 90 minutes, playing their ass off to win. They don't care what you think. You as a fan use this as an excuse. As a player, they don't go into the locker room and say, hey, well, I just lost Coppa Italia. Who cares? When Ronaldo's crying last season, that he lost the Super Coppa Italiana, when Lorenzo Insigne is crying because he missed a penalty that kind of lost for Napoli. When these guys are crying, they're emotional because they put their heart and soul on the line for a trophy. A trophy is a trophy for any player.
But Napoli doesn't win trophies. That's why Insigne was so upset.
No, it's not the point. Okay,
trophy's a trophy. You're paid
trophy's
to
a
win.
trophy, man. Exactly, man.
And by the way, I agree with Ivano. I agree with Ivano. And I'm not saying that they don't put their heart and souls into it. I'm sure that they were today. But, I mean, he's right. We cannot compare UEFA Nations League even to the importance of Coppa Italia or Supercoppa. Like, both of those are more important than Nations League. Real quick, I want to make sure I introduce our panel today. Now, we do have a familiar face from our last episode a couple of days ago, a couple of less familiar faces, although they both joined us before. But let me first introduce a guy who hasn't actually joined us since we were audio only. Like it must have been about a year and way overdue. Dan Pezzotta is back with us, who is a big provider of Atalanta content. He's joined us to talk Atalanta before. It's been way too long. Dan, welcome back, man. How are you?
Good, Alex. I'm excited to be here. Excited to be with you and Jerry on the show again. It's been a while, but I've had to be working out. Got to get the armor ready for Jerry's Gasparini attacks. So hopefully I've gotten there. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's going to be epic. And joining us, I want to say for the third time ever, second or third time, and I had the privilege of being on his Spaces last week. He is the undisputed king of Spaces, also from the All Juve cast. Cliff Esmiol is with us, and he's wearing his Azzurri finest. Even though they lost today, he's still repping Italia. Cliff, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me, and thank you for sharing out the spaces and my amazing All Juve cast who I work with. Just really excited to be back on the show. You know, I know if it was up to Jerry, I wouldn't be on the show today at all. So I'm happy, Alex, that you put in a good word for me.
We're starting some beef now. We're starting some beef, and let's welcome back a guy who's becoming a fixture, one of our favorites, Mass Riccio, who supports Roma. And listen, for everything we've got Lazio support, Inter support from me, Juve, Atalanta, Roma. We all unite behind the Azzurri, and that's going to be a big topic of conversation today. Welcome in, Mass. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me back, guys. I'm feeling like I'm part of the furniture at this rate that I've been appearing on the pod. You know.
I love it. And
so
it's
interesting to talk about this. Let's go.
Let's just. You know why Italy lost?
Because Immobile didn't play.
No, because Toloi wasn't on the bench. They clearly missed his presence on the bench. 100%.
You know why? It's because Moise Kean wasn't doing his little celebration, scoring goals during the game.
No, it's because it's Thanksgiving on Monday. Well, Sunday I'm celebrating it.
Nobody cares
and Monday.
About Canada.
At 2:45 would have been the game for the finals. I'm not going to miss the game now because it's 10 o'clock in the morning, the third place game. I don't give a shit who plays in the finals. If it's on in the background, it will be on. I will watch Italy's third place game because it's Italy, and I have to watch them shit the bed again with all Immobile. That's about it. That's why I have to say.
Jerry, Jerry and Mass, either of you, feel free to jump in because this is one of the few episodes where United States of America residents actually outweigh Canadian residents. Why do Canadians refuse to recognize real Thanksgiving, which is in late November? Why do you have this Fugazi Thanksgiving where you celebrate in October? Nobody cares about eating turkey in October. Like, why do you guys have a different Thanksgiving? I thought it's all based on the same thing. Why don't you recognize real Thanksgiving?
I have no idea. Honestly, I'd rather celebrate American Thanksgiving. I mean, I completely forget we even have a Thanksgiving coming up in October. I always keep track of mostly for football reasons because the Thursday of Thanksgiving, you got like 30 teams playing all at the same time. So it's great. I really don't know. It's really weird. But I mean, I'm not going to complain. I think it's one of the better food holidays.
Yeah.
So, I'll take turkey twice. I don't care.
Now, it's one of the better food holidays as long as, like, if you have whoever prepares your meal, like for me, like my father is actually like the cook in the family. And I've told the story before. My father, born and raised in Italy, when his mother, my nonna, found out he was marrying an American woman and moving to the States, she told him, you better learn to cook because an American wife won't be able to cook for shit. So you better learn. So my nonna taught my father everything she knew about cooking. So he adds like some Italian flavor to Thanksgiving. Like there's always going to be, sometimes he'll do lasagna along with the traditional stuff. Sometimes a nice pasta dish, a nice risotto. He cooks a lot of food. And I'm in Miami where there's a big Cuban influence. And bro, some of the Cuban families down here, they do Thanksgiving up right with the big roast pig, the lechon, the rice and beans. Like to me, I think if you can maximize Thanksgiving by like infusing some extra cuisine into the traditionals, that's the way to do it. Because if you just come from like a Midwestern household where you just stick to the basics, the turkey, the cranberry, stuffing, mashed potatoes, it gets a little bit stale and boring. But if you can infuse some other cuisine into it, then Thanksgiving becomes a goated food holiday.
My parents, we don't eat turkey at my parents' house.
Good.
No? Turkey,
it's overrated.
Turkey is so overrated. It makes you go to bed. It's shit.
I agree. 100%.
Shit. It's shit.
Can I say something, Jerry?
Yeah.
One of my neighbors, we started this tradition a few years ago. They have a list of people when they want to do their fried turkey. He will fry their turkeys for them. I will tell you, fried turkey will change your life and change your perspective on turkey on Thanksgiving.
Even change your arteries. But
that too, yeah.
Fried turkey is solid though. I've had it before.
My dad does ham. We do ham. My dad does steak. We do steak on Thanksgiving. Yeah, steak, sausage, all barbecue stuff. But I can tell you, a butcher, like my father, he goes out of the park and doesn't think about turkey. My mom says turkey takes too long to make. I gotta fucking put it, stuff it, blah blah blah, all that crap. And meanwhile, when you cook a turkey, half of it's still there. 70% it stays there. No one eats it.
You can make turkey soup.
The leftover sandwiches, though, are a good call.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
leftover
for sure.
turkey sandwiches. Yeah,
I think stuffing's the best thing, though, of anything. Like on Thanksgiving, I just look forward to the stuffing. I can eat stuffing, and that's it. And then
when done right, it's the elite side dish on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just get drunk. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter after a while.
Another thing we did the last year, we did apple pie moonshine with apple cider together. My gosh, it was so good.
Wow.
So I just like American Thanksgiving better because Dallas Cowboys plays on the Thursday. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Cowboys?
He's a Cowboys fan. Yeah.
What's the Cowboys and Lazio fan? Why wouldn't he be?
Oh yeah,
and the Oilers and the Oilers, Jerry.
Oh Lord!
Hold on, 3 terrible organizations all have stupid owners. Okay. Like,
dude, you're talking to a Mets and Jets fan. You don't know pain until you're a Mets and Jets fan.
That's just miserable, Cliff.
Thank God I'm a Juventus fan. Thank God I'm a Juventus fan.
I think we're shifting off here, but
we'll get back into it.
Yeah, we'll get back in. Or else we're gonna make this Calcio food connection.
So down for an episode.
So the answer to the question, Alex, is that Canadians really don't know, and they just want ours anyway. So that's the consensus, right?
Yeah. I think they do.
I don't give a shit. It's a day off for me. Okay. I don't give a fuck. I get paid.
That's fair.
I get paid. Fair. It's a day off. I don't care a shit what people think if we don't even acknowledge Thanksgiving.
So you get both days off?
I get Sunday. We get Monday off.
Oh, so you don't get American Thanksgiving off though, right?
No. I make it my own holiday. That's all.
That's cool.
He just uses a sick day. But I want to get back into the Azzurri because if you ask me, am I bummed about losing in the Nations League semifinal? No. But what does bum me out a little bit is, and we knew this would have to come to an end eventually, all good things come to an end. Today, the 2-1 loss to Spain, it marked the finish of the Azzurri's record for any major national team, 37-game unbeaten streak, which included a Euro championship this past summer, which was an amazing time with all Calcio fans coming together. The unbeaten streak dates back to a loss to Portugal in 2018. So you're talking about 3 years unbeaten for Mancini's Azzurri, which is incredible. In those 37 games, you had 28 victories, 9 draws, 0 defeats. Italy fall 2-1 to Spain today. And first thing that I want to go around the table on is, what did you guys think about the second yellow for Bonucci? I thought it was a little careless, but also a little bit soft. And I know our friend Carlo Garganese from the
his conspiracy theories again.
Yeah, he's got his conspiracies about how UEFA is targeting Italy. But you know what? Listen, I think there's enough evidence, and I got a tinfoil hat that's always on set with me here. I think that there's enough evidence. Italy has been very hard done, whether it's the Italian national team or Italian club teams playing in Europe. They've been very hard done by a lot of questionable calls. And Jerry, I'll start with you. What did you think about the call today to send off Bonucci? It was a second yellow. Some people were confused. They thought it was a straight red, which would have been incredibly harsh, but he already did have a yellow from earlier in the first half. This was a late first half sending off, went up with his elbow fighting for a header. The referee didn't hesitate to give him the second yellow card. I still thought it was a little bit harsh to give him a second yellow for that, Jerry. What did you think?
Well, being a veteran, a leader, it's kind of a stupid foul he took in the first place. You don't.
Yeah, it was definitely a foul.
The first yellow was really a yellow. He was complaining. I don't know what the heck he was complaining about. Something stupid, but and then you see him. At first, I didn't think it was. I thought it was soft. But when you look at the replay, he swings his arm full force and he goes around with his elbow. Now, what I'm mad about is that. I don't know who it was on Spain, but there was a player who near the end Laporte, who did exactly the same thing, went into the back of forgot who it was now. Keane. Elbow first, no card. That's where I get mad, is that they're both yellows. There's no different play. And you don't call the yellow. And you see his elbow go into the back of his head, and there's no call. Now, I heard the pod with Nima and Carlo. I growing up, my dad has always said 2 things to me. Italy always gets screwed by the refs in international play, like European play, whatever you want to call it. And secondly, Juventus buys games. Those are 2 things my father always told me. always. And like last year, we watched.
And just to take people behind the curtain, Jerry's dad is an Inter fan, so
Yes.
that's not surprising that those are his two philosophies.
My father, like coming from, like Dan said, his parents live in Bergamo, right? They live in Bergamo. My dad's
family,
yeah, my dad grew up in Frosinone, and like my father knows like the history of football living there. It's different than what I know. I'm just a casual fan at the end of the day. But he always said, like last year we watched Hellas Verona versus Juventus, and he's like, I don't want to watch this stupid game, but I'm going to watch it because you're over, and I guarantee you Juventus will have a call, and the refs are in their pocket. Funny enough, they get a call. They tied 2-2 that game last year, and they managed to get a point. So conspiracy theories, they're always going to be out there. I don't think it should get personal as well, since we're on the topic. If you're going to use conspiracy theories in football, there's no need to target people. I think Carlo has been targeted a little bit in terms of becoming this little awareness. There's nothing wrong if he thinks that Italian refs are being paid. It's possible. It's
happened before.
It's not like
it's never happened.
I think this conspiracy theory is much different compared to and I know I shouldn't say this, compared to the vaccine and how people are doing that.
Way different.
I think
because here's what you have to ask yourself. Here's what you have to ask yourself. Like, is a conspiracy about European refs, is that conspiracy theory hurting anybody?
Exactly.
No, it's not.
No.
Exactly. That's why it pisses me off how certain people have to target him. And it's like, guys, at the end of the day, it's just a thought he has. He has the stats that back him up. I always go back to Korea 2002. I know Nima said 19 years ago. I don't care that was 19 years ago. Italy got screwed that World Cup. Screwed hardcore. I woke up at goddamn 6 a.m. to watch that stupid game, and they lost, I believe, in extra time. And guys, I know that we're going to talk about this, and I'll piggyback right now, and you guys can add on. I think the biggest mistake today was Lorenzo Pellegrini not playing. I think that if you know that this competition doesn't mean anything, and even to start the second half would have been better. Pellegrini came on too late. And the minute he came on, they were more attacking.
Look what they did when he came on.
They got something going. He has a best player today for Italy. I was going to tweet out, I wish we had 10 more of him, because his intensity and his ability to just keep on running and play hard till the end, I didn't see that. And lastly, and it's just my opinion, I didn't like the booing on Gigi Donnarumma. Only because
I wanted to get to that too.
Because, and you guys can piggyback on all 3 points. And I'll say it quickly, is that the problem with booing a player, and I get it's fair play. The way he left, whatever, you got to take your bullets now. You screwed up. You shouldn't be crying at halftime because you chose more money. You know the consequences. You know how all the fans in Italy are reactionary. But, and I know a lot of Milan fans are excited to do this to him, but I do believe this really had an impact on the game and how Italy played. Because when you're booing,
and it looked like it affected him.
It's not only affecting him, it's affecting the whole team. Because they hear the booing.
Yeah.
They hear that negative impact where they're like, what's going on? And you don't think they're affected by, they see their own teammate being disrespected while he's representing their country. Like, I think there's a trickle effect on the team itself mentally, and it hurts everybody. And I think a little bit that kind of played into the game. Again, that you can't. I do agree. Like, at the end of the day, I may think it's wrong what Milan fans did, but they're paying customers. They're fans there. They're entitled to do what they want. You can't tell a Milan fan, do not boo at Donnarumma. But at the end of the day, your actions do lead to consequences. And I think one of the consequences was that this team was affected by this. And at the end of the day, we lost 2-1. So,
and let me add something to that, and then I want to go around the
table guys.
On the Donnarumma booing. I'm not going to be a hypocrite, and I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for anyone else on this panel, because people would probably expect me, being an Interista, to say, "Oh, what are these Milanisti, classless? You're booing a guy who's playing for the Azzurri. You're giving the Azzurri a hard time." Did it make me feel a little uneasy and a little bit tormented watching the game, seeing Italian fans booing an important player on the Italian national team? Sure, but at the same time, I'm not going to condemn it. I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I can understand the club before country mentality, because I feel that way about Inter. So I can't blame Milanisti for feeling that way. I think if the same situation had happened with Inter, if he had left Inter the way that he did, or if any player had left Inter the way that he did, I probably would have done the exact same thing. So, and I'm only speaking for me. If you guys feel differently, that's fine, and I respect it. But I'm speaking for me. I don't want to be a hypocrite and condemn Milanisti for booing Donnarumma, because if the shoe was on Inter's foot, I probably would have done the same thing if I had been in that stadium. So it's unfortunate, because I think it did, like Jerry said, I think it did have an effect on the team, and it seemed to have an effect on Donnarumma, and he was probably expecting that and bracing for it. I don't think that makes it any less impactful if you know that's happening. So it's really unfortunate. I just hope they got it out of their systems. Like, I hope that they said, at the end of the day, this is the Nations League semifinal. Like, in the future, you may have more important Italian national team games there. And hey, they may have another chance to do it, because if, Milan, are hosting PSG in an international tournament, then you have all the reason to boo when he's not even wearing your country's colors. I hope they got it out of their system today, or they have an opportunity to do it with him and PSG in the future, because I don't expect them to do that every time he plays in that stadium. And I would hope they don't do it every time he plays in that stadium, because they play frequently at the San Siro. I hope they got it out of their system today. But if I was a Milanista, I probably would have done the exact same thing. What do you think, Cliff? I'll let you weigh in on all this.
So first of all, for that, we have different mentalities, and that's completely fine. We have opposing opinions, and that's totally fine. For me, it's always country over club. I feel, and you feel the same way about Inter. You have like this deep, deep sense of love for it. For when it comes to the Azzurri, I just have this deep passion that I can't put club over the country. And, for me, I understand why they booed him. And because it's the this Nations League, and it's a Mickey Trophy, we don't care about it. I honestly think, okay, they did it once, like you said, get it out of your system, but I don't ever want to see these fans do it again in a World Cup, in a significantly more important match, because it's disrespectful to your country. It's disrespectful to the player who's representing your own country. And for me, because it's this case, it's okay for now in this one instance. And if you want to do it on the club level, that's fine. But if it's in the World Cup, you better not do that. And I'm not putting an ultimatum on, because I can't tell these people how to act. But all I'm saying is, I think you're really crossing a line if you do that, and I think it's very disrespectful to the flag and to the nation.
I'll go, Dan. You can say your piece on that, and then we'll give Mass the last word.
Well, I'm with you, Alex. I'm definitely club over country when it comes to that. Like, I don't know if I would be booing. Like, I don't know if I would boo Papu Gomez if he was Italian and he was playing. But it might be a different type of relationship that fans have with him. I don't know. I think part of the problem is that it's happened before, right? I was almost like hoping that we won the match so that we could throw confetti and fake money at Donnarumma. But it's not the first time it's happened. I mean, we know Milan fans and Gigi Donnarumma have a little bit of a history here, right? Yeah. So I expected it to happen. It did happen. That mistake that he had in the first half, where luckily it hit the post after it went through his hands, and then Bonucci had a great clearance off the line. Had that gone in, it would have been probably even worse. It definitely affects Gigio, and he's still young, even though he's super experienced. I agree with you, Jerry. It affects the entire team. Just think about if you're a defender, right? You're back there, you're Bastoni and you're Bonucci. And you hear this, and that he's still pretty young. This is probably getting to him. So how does that affect you as a central defender? How does that affect the fullbacks? How does it affect everybody on the team? So I can understand why they did it. I expected them to do it. Would I do it, even though I care about my club maybe a little bit more than I care about my country? I don't know. I'd have to see. And a lot of it too is mob mentality.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
A couple people start doing it, and then boom, hey, it seems like the thing to do. It seems like the thing to do. You ever been to a Mexican football game where or like even an MLS game. I went to a CONCACAF Champions League game once between the LA Galaxy and Santos Laguna. And of course, even though it was in LA, it was all Santos Laguna fans.
Yeah.
And of course, what do? They do the puto when you kick the ball, right? When the opposite goalie kicks the ball.
Yeah.
I was doing it against my own goalie because I thought it was hilarious, you know. And so, and my dog wants to weigh in too.
Oh,
she thinks that.
What's her name?
Her name is Rona. Unfortunately, I named her before the virus happened, but but yeah. But I mean, that's my piece. Again, like you never know what you're gonna do. When you're at the game like that.
It's funny, and you talking about that Galaxy game, I can remember many years ago, the World Baseball Classic, if you guys have ever watched any of those games. Yeah. So, again, I live in Miami, and Miami is a melting pot, sure. Big Latin American influence, and Team USA was playing a game in Miami against Puerto Rico, and the crowd was like 95% Puerto Rico. So it was crazy, and it was like, I kind of sat there, and Puerto Rico beat the USA like 10-0. I think they mercy ruled them, and I don't have any Puerto Rican blood, but I think I might have started chanting and cheering with the Puerto Rican fans. It was so much fun. And Dan, I want to get Mass, I want to get your take on Donnarumma, and then I want to go around the table on the Bonucci sending off. So Dan, if Mass, if you want to, I don't know why I keep calling Mass Dan. So Mass, if you want to answer that part first on Donnarumma, and then you can also say if you thought the second yellow on Bonucci was harsh.
Yeah, I'll touch on both. For Donnarumma, I mean, look, if he expected to walk into the San Siro and not get booed, I mean, you're looking at the world with rose-colored glasses here, especially with the history you have with your club, and you leave on those terms for money, sure. But then again, like you said, he's young, so I could kind of understand his decision. You're getting crazy money, but who would have thought he'd be sitting on the bench at PSG, right? So that's neither here nor there. So the fans booing Donnarumma is expected. I'm not even upset about it. He should have come to expect it coming back to the San Siro. Does it affect your team? Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm not going to blame his shaky save that went off the post there, that went right through his hands on the volley on him being booed. I think it's more him just being rusty because he's not really getting playtime at PSG.
That's a great point.
So I don't think I'll blame that on the fans. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are professionals. I've seen some professionals get a lot worse thrown their way in terms of being heckled by fans. So, I mean, they get paid to play. If he gets booed, then by all means. But I don't think it should affect his play. Yeah, he's young. I'm sure it does kind of weigh on him. But at the end of the day, he's got a job to do on the field. You got to be mentally strong to kind of put that aside. So no surprise there with the fans booing Donnarumma. As for the Bonucci yellow, I didn't even know he was on a second. It was a second yellow.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't, and they were like, "Oh my God, they sent him off for that."
Because I had seen a yellow card come up earlier in the game, and I kind of was just like going between that and all of Twitter kind of just in shambles with the way Italy was playing. Everyone was panicking. So, but I thought Barella had gotten the first yellow. I didn't even know it was Bonucci. I knew a player had gotten a yellow, but I didn't know who exactly it was. And then the second yellow look, from what I've seen with all situations on that front, if you make contact with someone's face, I know in City has an automatic yellow. I think I've had this conversation with a couple of people when breaking down those instances. So in this case, I'm not surprised that he did get a yellow for kind of going up there and making contact with, Busquets' face while going up for the ball. So the second yellow, I mean, is merited. The first yellow, I think he got for maybe complaining at the ref. That's another story. And
I think it was after that free kick where they tried to trick Spain, where they took it short to Barella. I think he got on the ref after that. Yeah,
I mean, look, he's the leader of our team, right? So it happens. I mean, look, I'd rather it happen now, and I'm not going to say meaningless because trophies are trophies at the end of the day. Jerry, insert your bonsai trophy comment here for Roma, but a trophy is a trophy, So I'd rather it be we lose now than somewhere down the line during World Cup qualifying or World Cup qualifier. So
well said. So we'll go
check.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, and Dan, I'll get your take, and then Cliff on Bonucci getting sent off.
I mean, had it been the other way around, we would have been okay. I think part of it was interesting commentary after the second yellow card came. on the broadcast, the announcer was saying, like, and refs usually say that there's a higher ceiling for the second yellow card. And I think that's true. I think everybody knows that. Maybe that's not a written rule, but if a guy's already on a yellow card, so you could tell that the referee was very hesitant. It took him forever to pull that thing out, right? It took him a while to put that yellow card out. But at that point, kind of like what Mass was saying, like, man, you went up there with your elbow, and I've seen them not given, and I've definitely seen them given. So in the context of that particular play, I wasn't shocked. It didn't even seem like there was any kind of review on it at all. But then what happened in the second half, where it was inconsistent, that's what pissed me off. But Bonucci's got to know, I mean, to get the first yellow card for complaining about whatever it was he was complaining about, that's what really pissed me off.
I think Laporte ended up did get the yellow, though. I think it was only like a bit after the.
Oh, did he get it? Did he get it?
Yeah, he did get the yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. It just took a while for them to whistle the play down, but I saw him pull out a yellow for Laporte.
Got it.
I missed that too. Okay.
Yeah. Well, then there you go. The Russian referee did absolutely fine, and it totally sucks for us. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What about you, Cliff? I'll give you the last word on that second yellow.
Thank you, Alex. But yeah, Dan makes a great point. Bonucci needs to keep his head on the first yellow. That should never happen. And I think that kind of proves that this didn't mean that much, because if this was a World Cup, I think he would have kept his composure more. Like the Euros, I think there were times when Italy, could have blown up and gotten really upset about calls, but they didn't. They kept their composure. And I think that's why in this match, he might have just let loose a little bit, because he realized it doesn't really matter that much. It's a trophy made out of glue and plastic, so nobody really cares about it. And I'm just assuming. I don't know if it's actually made out of glue and plastic. I'm just saying that. But
maybe it's a tree.
Maybe it's a bonsai tree. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, if you look at the replay, he went up. I mean, the only thing I'll say is I think a lot of people, like, if you haven't played the game, which I'm assuming most people who are watching have played the game, when you go up with your arms up, and obviously it looked like he extended it, so that's why it was a foul. But, when people say, oh, why didn't he jump with his arms at his side? You don't realize, like, people don't realize how difficult it is to jump up with your arms at your side. Like, you just don't do that. It's not natural. So, obviously it was a little bit of a boneheaded move by Bonucci, but, seeing him, hit Busquets in the face kind of made me feel a little bit better, because I hate Busquets. So, a little bit of a consolation prize.
Yeah, and what was Italy's undoing on the score sheet was a brace by Ferran Torres today. Both of those goals coming in the first half. And Jerry, you had brought something up, and I'll let you continue the thought that Pellegrini probably should have started, came on too late, certainly provided a spark. He gets the goal from Italy, which was a Spanish mistake, but then the goal beautifully set up by Federico Chiesa. Unbelievable combination play on that goal. So, Jerry, what did you take anything away from this game in the positive sense? And maybe some players you thought, including Pellegrini, that, hey, we should probably see more of, not less of, in the future?
Well, I guess it's hard when your starting three is Barella, you got Locatelli. You got Verratti and Jorginho. So like, when you have your starting three solidified, it's always hard to say, hey, we're going to start Pellegrini today. I think that's the common consensus. It's like, I'll say Lazio, for example. Let's just say, like, you're always going to start the same three of Leva, Alberto, and Savic. And even if there's two guys on the bench that are, just say, hypothetically, we're better, they're not going to be there, because you're just so used to starting your main three, because the continuity, the chemistry, and and for them, it's a big game. For us, it's not. Like I'll say again, you got to be in their shoes and have to understand, why are they picking that three? People are saying, oh, this is a good opportunity to kind of test things. Mancini is not thinking that. Mancini is thinking, I want to win this. Now on Sunday, he will test it. I can guarantee you probably 90% you will see new faces in the lineup. You're not going to see Barella starting. You'll probably see someone like Pellegrini now starting. And he'll come in and play that kind of attacking role. Like, you're going to see a different back line maybe. I think that he should have started from the beginning, just because of the form. But again, you're not looking at form of Serie A into form of playing for the international team. Because like if that's the case, then you're thinking, okay, Ciro Immobile, he's always in good form in Serie A. Why isn't it transition to Italy? Like for certain players, it doesn't. It's a tough question to answer, but I think at the end of the day, he should have started the second half. That isn't, without a doubt, he should have been at the beginning, the first substitution. And Chiellini should have started from the beginning, I guess, with Bonucci or Bastoni. I'm okay with Bastoni making the mistake today and not in the Euros or a World Cup game, because that's growing pains. And that's something that is going to help his game along the way. It's better to learn it today and not that it would have cost him in the quarterfinals to Croatia or something, right? And everyone's like, oh, but Bastoni, like, what the heck? And it's like, okay, he's going to learn that mistake there. It's a contribution of players on that play. I'll say this. I didn't like Chiesa starting as a number 9. Didn't like that at all. I think that was a really, really poor move by Mancini. Now, we shouldn't have to criticize. We shouldn't be allowed to criticize him for what he's been able to do with this team. But I think it's come to the time where poor form was going to come. Guys, this team is not made of steel. They weren't going to be good for another 25 matches.
You gotta lose eventually.
Yeah, you're gonna lose eventually. It's gonna happen. It's the first loss in 37 matches. That's amazing. But today should have been Raspadori in the center. On the right should have been Chiesa. On the left should have been Insigne. That's what it should have been. Today was a prime time for Raspadori to start. But for me now, and because Mancini is still manager of Italy for I don't know how long, I'll say until 2025 because he renewed his contract, or we'll just hypothetically say to the next World Cup, 2026. My biggest takeaway from this game is that Immobile is the striker, is the starter for the World Cup next year. And I say that with a lot more confidence after today, because if you're choosing Chiesa over Raspadori and Keane, that tells me that he is more confident in either Belotti or Immobile to start up front. If he wasn't really confident in Immobile, he would think, okay, I'm starting Raspadori today. He didn't. In a big game, he did not put him in. And everyone's asking, when are we going to see Raspadori start? When are we going to see Keane start? I didn't think Keane looked good when he came off the bench. I thought that he showed a player that needs a lot to learn how to play on the big stage against the bigger teams like Spain. I think that Raspadori would have been the better choice to bring off the bench. He's a number 9. Keane is a winger, so I will give him. You can think whatever you want, Cliff. I think that Keane plays better on the wing. That's just the way he's not a fast player.
Jerry. No, he's not a winger. He's a striker. I'm sick of this shit that he's a winger. He's a striker.
I'm sorry, man.
No, you're full of shit. You don't know Keane like I do. I watched him for all the years he was at Juventus. He is a striker.
Okay, I can't.
Well, Cliff, he holds the ball up like a winger.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair. If you want to say the way if you want to say the way he moves and his technical ability resembles a winger, that's fine. But he is a striker.
He plays like Immobile a bit.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, you could say that. But Immobile is a striker. Therefore, Keane is a striker.
I don't know,
got
man.
you there, Jerry.
I got you. I got you, Jerry.
But Immobile is a natural striker. Keane's not.
So is Keane. He's a natural finisher. He had 16 goals for PSG.
Where did he play, though?
What do you mean, where did he play?
What position did he play?
Striker.
Didn't he play on the wing?
Maybe sometimes, but he's striker.
I need to go pull up those stats, man. I'm pretty sure he played as a winger.
Be my guess. I didn't pull the stats, Jerry.
Pull up the receipt.
I got to pull up the receipts.
Jerry is my fantasy expert.
I don't even care. At the end of the day, Keane, everyone's like, oh, we know Immobile, we got Keane, we got Raspadori, we got this shit dick squad. I seen one goal which had Chiesa had to do everything by himself, basically. Okay. I wish Immobile can do that just once in a while. But anyways,
it was pretty incredible the way that
it was incredible. He did everything, but like,
and he probably could have scored himself if he wanted to, but he said, 100% Pellegrini scores. So I can either take a 90%er or set up a guy for 100%.
And everyone's saying if Immobile got that chance today, he would have missed it. I'll tell you something. That chance would never have been created for Immobile had he been on the pitch, because when Immobile is on the pitch, all of a sudden they play differently. And it's like they just ignore who's in that middle, and they say, hey, you know what? We're just gonna. I would call Balotelli. I actually would. It's like if Immobile played today, they just use him differently, and they don't give him that service like Insigne got that pass today. I never see people cross balls into him or use him. But again, my main takeaway to this game is that Immobile will be the striker for the World Cup, because that I just see how Mancini views his team. And had Immobile been fit to play today, he would have been the starter. And that's it. That is the clear thing, because the whole front line changes.
Sorry I interrupted you, by the way.
Go ahead, I'm done.
I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Never apologize to Jerry for interrupting.
I want you guys to talk.
And I want to open it up. I want to open it up. If anybody has if anybody has any parting comments on the Azzurri, and then I know, and I've got to run in about 15 minutes. So I want to get any final thoughts on the Azzurri, and then I know Jerry and I wanted to pick Dan's brain a little bit on Atalanta, because we haven't talked about Atalanta in literally forever.
If you got to leave, I can close this bitch.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea then. But Cliff, you raised your hand very politely. You have any parting comments on the Azzurri?
Moise Kean is the starter for the future for the Azzurri. I think Jerry's right. I think with the experience, Cheeto is the starter right now for the World Cup. But I think going forward, Keane's your number 2. I think confidently, I would say, depending also on his form with Juventus, because we also have to see how he plays, but I think he's the number 2 based off the talent I've seen. And then Belotti is the next after that. And then I think Raspadori, just because of his age and inexperience, he's at the bottom of the barrel right now. But, we'll see. We'll see the formation that Mancini likes to play. He likes to play this false 9 now. The false nueve, as some of our friends like to say. So we'll see what the future holds. So I'll let you guys go.
I just am not surprised. I don't know why everybody's so shocked that we lost to Spain. I mean, when we look at the match, the semifinal match in the Euros, Spain was just. I thought we were lucky to come out of that game. We really were. I mean, it took a Chiesa wonder goal, and then of course got all the way to the end there. So I'm not surprised. I mean, there were some decisions that were made. We're missing, Ciro Immobile. Maybe we could have started Lorenzo Pellegrini, but it's freaking Spain. They're a freaking good team. So I'm not super butthurt about losing to Spain. It sucks to lose our streak. I know, Cliff, you're saying it's not a big deal of a trophy, but I agree with Jerry. Like the players were getting at it with each other at the end. It was getting pretty testy. Like it's Italy versus Spain. It doesn't matter. It could be. It could be in your grandma's backyard.
Rivalry, though. I think that's just because the rivalry. I'm not sure if it was the tournament, but you're right. I think you make a great point. One last comment I want to make before I let Mas go, because he's the guy. I love him. I want to hear what he has to say about Pellegrini. But I think they were starting a 17-year-old in the midfield. They have Pedri. This is a Spain that is on the come up again. They're not just a very young team with no experience. They're already having quality players coming up in the wing. So we have to be very, very careful, or this could be another decade of dominance for Spain.
That's a good shout. And Mass, if you want to weigh in on Pellegrini.
I'll just weigh in on the Azzurri in general, because I'm not going to kick a dead horse that Pellegrini didn't start. I mean, it happens. Look, it's true. Like, fine, he's in form, but was I shocked with the lineup that we had going onto the field against Spain today? No. Do we try and play the same game plan we did against them today as we did in the semifinals? It's exactly what we saw. We're trying to play a possession-heavy game against the team that pretty much created the possession pass-heavy game and dominated. Had a ridiculous run of, what was it, a Euro, a World, and a Euro? Or was it a World, Euro, World? I can't remember.
First one, remember? Euro, World, Euro.
They won a lot. That's all I know.
Yeah. It was definitely Euro, World, Euro. Yeah.
Euro, World, Euro. So
I had to think about it for a second because it's such a tongue twister the way you phrased it.
No, sorry. Yeah, no. It's because I couldn't figure out if it was a Euro Cup, World Cup, Euro Cup, or 2 World Cups and a Euro Cup. They know how to play. They created how Italy was playing during that Euro Cup. So it just goes to show that Mancini kind of needs to get back to the drawing board. Maybe. I mean, I trust him as a manager. We're miles away from the misery we had seen years ago before he took the reins. So I just think he needs to be a bit more versatile, because we have an absolute embarrassment of riches in terms of depth and what we can do with this team. So hopefully we see that Sunday. I mean, this was just, like I said, a very, very good reality check for this team. All good things come to an end. Obviously, the win streak, it sucks, but we do have the outright record. But it was just a reality check for the team. It was good. It knocked us back down to earth after the high we were riding all summer. So we'll see. Hopefully Sunday we see some new faces on the field. I'd like to see it. I would like to see Pellegrini start, though. I mean, not being a Homer Roma fan or anything, but he's been a man on fire under Mourinho, and he's been playing world-class football, and you saw the energy he brought on the field when he came on, even though we were down a man. So we'll see what happens Sunday. Might as well start tinkering now, maybe shake it up a bit and see what happens. There's nothing to lose. What? We don't get third place. Who cares? It's not like we're bringing home a trophy for first. So give it a shot, tinker, and see what happens. You know,
maybe we'll get a tree. Who knows?
That's the third place
you
trophy.
You guys wish you were eco-friendly the way Roma is with the bonsai tree and worrying about the carbon footprint. So
that's fair.
I love it.
Yeah. You guys are busy polluting it with Fiat?
The Fiat factory.
We make beautiful cars, though. Beautiful cars. Not
Beautiful
very efficient
cars. Yeah, right.
Trust me, our trophy case isn't polluting anything right now.
So man, and you know what? And that's a good segue. I want to, and I'm going to have to step aside in a couple of minutes and leave you guys in the very capable hands of Jerry Mancini. But I did want to segue with Dan into some Atalanta comments. Now, Dan, you guys had one job, man. You had one job for me this past weekend. I wasn't even asking for a win, but at home, just take 2 points from Milan. You couldn't do that. What happened? You guys played so well against Inter the previous week. What happened this past weekend?
Well, I think the jury could be a little bit out, but my perspective is we actually played pretty well against Milan, and we screwed up twice. And a good Milan team made us pay for it. I mean, Musso has been just unbelievable for us, and then to mess up in the first 28 seconds like that. I mean, sure, Joachim Mæhle missed a mark there with Calabria coming through, but 28 seconds in, granted, Lautaro scores 4 minutes in, and we come back and we take the lead. But Musso making a mistake is very strange. And for those who don't know Atalanta like super well, Remo Freuler is the man for us. Like if you're talking about Mr. Consistency, like that's Remo Freuler. He doesn't screw up like that. And so for him to screw up, and of course for Tonali to take that goal really, really well. I mean, you saw Atalanta's response after the first goal went in, right? I mean, 30 seconds in, it was a siege on the Milan goal. And Mike Maignan, of course, we had Fikayo Tomori and Simone Kjær were playing off their socks. If you look at that game, and we received 3 goals, some of our best players, or probably our 3 best players, were our center backs. They really played actually a really, really good game, and we still received 3 goals. So, it's disappointing, and I don't like to lose to Milan at all. We had owned them for a while, and they beat us last year in the final game to get second place. I was super pissed about that. I hated ending the season again in third when we could have finished in second. And this was really disappointing. And it's just, and then we lose Pessina to an already shortened bench, and Gosens is going to be out. I mean, it's going to test our depth, really. But that was a frustrating game. Because Muriel comes on, he's really rusty from coming off of injury. And Gasperini, when Pessina goes off, we have an embarrassment of riches in attacking midfield. Josip Ilicic, even Luis Muriel could have come on. Alexei Miranchuk, Mario Pasalic. He brings on a wing back and plays at 3 wing backs, and he puts Giuseppe Pezzella in. Sometimes Gianpiero Gasperini does these crazy things. I don't know what he sees. But have you ever seen a bird with 3 wings? How are we playing with 3 wing backs, right? So there were just, our mistakes cost us, and the biggest mistakes I think came from Gianpiero Gasperini in trying to get that back. So that was a frustrating match. But in the grand scheme of things, where we are now, we have 2 points less this season than we did at this point last season. Granted, we're 10 points behind Napoli, but everybody knows what happens in the winter. We must have these. Nobody wants to play cold, wet nights in Bergamo or Stoke.
Right.
So we definitely peak later.
And Mass and I have seen what happens to Spalletti in winter, so I'm wondering how good this Napoli team really is if they can overcome the Spalletti winter blackouts.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And hey, at this time last year we had 2 more points, but we weren't first in our Champions League group. So I'm not panicking yet. But it's with the injuries, it's going to test our depth, and we have more depth this year. So we'll see how we do.
So I'm going to step aside now. Got to produce some college football content. So I'm going to leave you guys.
Who the hell gives a shit about football?
Let's go, Alex.
Go UCLA Bruins.
Although I will say that the college football team,
baby.
Yeah, exactly. My U, they're so bad. They are embarrassingly bad, but the content never stops. So I will talk to you guys later. The pod continues. Jerry is going to hold it down with this amazing panel. I will talk to you guys next time.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you guys. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, God, now we're left with Jerry. Shit.
No one cares about Atalanta. No one cares about Juventus.
There it is.
All right.
Oh my God, is this going to be the Derby della Capitale? A bunch of shit-talking Canadians now? Oh, I'm out. I'm out.
At
I'm
least
hungry.
you got me, the 2 USA guys.
Okay, this is great.
Let's just turn this into U.S. versus Canada, huh?
This is
the Alphonse.
I got
Davis
Jerry.
versus the
It's not
entire
even be
national
close.
team.
I'm gonna destroy Jerry in my matchup.
Hold on. Let's just get this straight. Can we all agree that Gasparini is one big bag of shit?
Oh, here we go.
There
So
it is.
actually, I want to ask Dan.
You knew this was going to come.
In the whole thing that happened, Dan, who would you have picked? Would you have backed Gasparini? Because I've heard things about what he potentially did with Papu. Who would you have taken in that circumstance?
Well, I don't have all the evidence. It's a lot of hearsay, and everybody says a bunch of things. But at the end of the day, the right decision was made. Papu Gomez, I loved him to death. I still love him to this day. A lot of Atalantini don't feel the same way as me. I feel like the club is more important than a player, and I feel like in this case, Gasparini is more important. He's the one who's brought the glory. So, what he's done. So here's my question to you guys all in weighing in on this, because a lot lately again has been talked about Gasparini. Whatever happened between him and Papu, right? We know that that's a thing. And that was pretty public because Papu Gomez is kind of like a pretty popular figure. He has a big Instagram following. Everybody likes Papu, so everybody was shocked, right? We had a more quiet row with, you guys remember Timothy Castagna? I don't know, he plays for Leicester now, but
yeah.
What's he doing there?
He's doing okay. I mean, Leicester isn't doing great. He got injured in the Euros, so he's coming back. He's coming back from that. But his comment on why he wanted to leave was, we basically had Robin Gosens on the left-hand side and we had Hans Hateboer on the right. I love Timothy Castagna. I think he could have started over Hans Hateboer any day. But his comment was, the coach never explained to me why I wasn't starting more, right? So there's a communication issue there. But do you think that the rest of the team, guys like Rafael Toloi, Duvan Zapata, Luis Muriel, even Josip Ilicic, right, who was sort of involved in that Papu thing, why are they sticking around? Because it's certainly not for money if he's such a douchebag and he's doing these things in the locker room. That's my question, is if it's verifiable, he slapped a couple of guys and he talks a lot of shit about Lazio especially. That's why Lazio fans don't really like him. But if he's really this bad, why is everybody still there? Because it's certainly not the money.
Because they want to win.
You think
they want to win? They believe in the system.
But is it worth doing that? Do you believe in the system and not believe in the coach? That's where my question is with this whole situation.
It's one and the same with the coach and the system, right? Usually a coach will come in and implement the system or whatever. Sure. It's never a team has a system and a coach comes in, takes the reins and plays that system.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's a lot of he said, she said, or whatever it is you want to call it, hearsay. But if players are sticking around, there must be something else that's not being spoken about.
I'll explain why. Okay.
Okay. Interested to hear this.
So first off, I think he did a good job. Well, it says his contract expires in 2022, okay? June. So here's a player who says to himself, I got 1 year left on my deal. I'm getting paid X amount. I'll play it out. Next year, in the summer, I'm a free agent. I'm going to go and test the waters and see who needs me. A guy like him, even though he's 33, I think he is, if I'm not mistaken. He's 33.
Yeah.
Still a serviceable player, okay?
Fantastic, yeah.
Who can still come off the bench, who can still be a game changer. I think that he's playing this right. He's not making a big stink out of it. And I say this as well because we're heading into a new era with football where no longer are you going to be buying players for 30 million. Teams are waiting for players to run out their contracts and say, hey, we're going to buy him for 6 million per season, and we will avoid spending 31 million, aka example, Joaquin Correa. So that's why, in a way, like teams like Atalanta, Lazio are smart because they tie their players up for such a long term that you're forced to sell them. So like Savage, everyone wants Savage. Juventus wants Savage. Guess what? You want Savage, you got to pay to get him because he's locked up till 2025, 26. It's not Joseph Ilicic where teams are like, hey, I'll wait till next summer. He's a free transfer. I don't have to pay $1 for him. That's why I think that he will be out the door next summer. He is not staying.
Ilicic.
Who are you talking about? Ilicic?
Ilicic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's gone next summer. And here's another thing.
Okay. He should have been gone this year anyway.
Yeah, I think that this is the first mistake that we'll probably see in a while where Atalanta really messed up and maybe should have dropped the price for Milan and say, hey, take him for 2 million, have a nice day, or whatever the case may be, right? You take your losses, you take whatever. You know, there's no losses. The amortization is probably done on him. So here's another thing. 5 sub appearances, and he started only 2 matches, which were the beginning of the year. I find that odd. And that kind of is the writing on the wall where it's like Gasperini has phased him out for me, where he's not using him like he did before. There's something wrong with this team. I'm finding that Gasperini magic is starting to slip away. Maybe
what's the magic?
Where the team looked so good under him, like they wanted to play under him. There was that fire I felt in past seasons, and that fire is not there anymore. Like you would always see that spark where they try to like come back in matches. Mm-hmm. They would push each other, and I really think that it all started back to Papu Gomez, where it kind of trickled down, and maybe we're seeing that effect now of what happened that time, and maybe the players have lost respect for Gasperini, where. When you watch Atalanta this season, they have not looked good. I think their only good game they've had this year was against Inter. Let's look at. You watch more than I do. Okay?
Yeah. I agree with you that it hasn't been pretty, but you're also used to when you hear Atalanta and you think of Gasperini, you're used to them scoring 90, 98 goals a season, right? One of the reasons why you aren't seeing us come from behind is because we're not going behind as much. I mean, we came from behind with Inter, but teams are playing the low block against us. You look at that first match against Torino. You look at how we eked out Salernitana. What we're missing on the Papu Ilicic is a creator who can break that down, right? We have Ruslan Malinovsky, who is going through a bad patch, which is part of the problem. That's why Ilicic doesn't play, because Ruslan Malinovsky will play there. So yeah, we haven't been great, but we also had not Muriel. We didn't have Duvan in the beginning. No Martin de Roon for the first 4 games. You have to remember how important in our double pivot Martin de Roon is, him and Remo Freuler, right? So, yeah, we haven't looked good. I'm not going to tell you, Jerry, that we look fucking fantastic. We don't, compared to what we're used to. But if you're talking about fight and where we are, you have to understand this is a matured team. You're not going to get the crazy Roma's up 3-0 at halftime and we come back and we tie him, or we go up 3-0 and then Roma comes back. You're not going to get that with this Atalanta. I mean, we're first in our Champions League group. We play smarter. We concede less goals now. Juan Musso is a big reason why. So maybe it's time for us to shift our paradigm of what a successful Atalanta looks like. I know I have to talk myself into doing that, because little by little, if you look at Atalanta in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2021, and 21, 22, you're seeing very different ways of playing and adapting, because Gasperini changes little by little. Remember when we did a back 4 a couple of times last season, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're playing with a back 4," and we beat Hellas Verona. So I think just to you guys, obviously, like you said, I watch Atalanta. Atalanta's my ride or die. I've been a fan for 40 years, so I understand this team, and I have to tell myself not to hold the way that we play to the standards that we've seen every single season in the past, because sometimes things change. Do I think Do I hate the word magic and do I hate the word fairy tale for us? Absolutely, because it's a lot of hard work and a lot of good business. So I do kind of get a little butthurt when people say that. But every season, everybody's saying this. Atalanta can't do it, right? Guess what? The football world is a little bit entitled, us as fans, right? We have history of our clubs, all these things. This team can't be good. If Sassuolo had done what Atalanta did for a sustained period of time, people would be talking mad shit about Sassuolo, right? So I think that we have to understand that as fans. If Atalanta becomes if we become permanently one of the Seven Sisters, and here comes Venezia, or here comes another team that's coming up and taking my spot, I'm probably going to be a little bit bitter too. But so if we do fall out of the top four for the first time in 4 years, that's understandable. It doesn't mean it's over. And it doesn't mean it was magic or some fairy dust that Gasperini was sprinkling on,
I want to say one point. Obviously, I don't watch Atalanta as religiously as Dan does, but I was going to say that, things have looked different since the whole Papo situation. We've seen kind of, not a decline, but sort of kind of we've seen a hesitancy sometimes in players on the pitch. We've seen kind of the play doesn't look as smooth at times. But overall, I still had them preseason. I still have them top four. I still think the quality is going to shine through, and I think they're still going to end up as a top four side. I think I had Juventus, Inter, Napoli, and Atalanta, not in that order, but I had those four teams in the top four. And I think Atalanta could still do it. They still have the quality. They still do great business. And they have very good quality depth. The wingback depth is ridiculous. How many wingbacks they have? It's insane. But yeah, that's all I'll say on Atalanta. I still think they'll be fine going forward.
I don't watch them enough, but if you're saying that you're out, you got key players out, then there are players who should be stepping up and making a difference, right? So
yeah, hopefully
that's the concern, right? And
yes.
I know it's the start, but you want certain players to fill the void. I don't know. I just when I watched them against Inter, and I just saw that they were hungry. Yeah. And then you go against Milan, and at home too, and it's like they disappeared. And it's like,
no, Jerry, we made a couple of mistakes. I disagree with you. Like I said, I think we actually played really, really well. It's just that we made two mistakes, and then the third Leao goal was in the process of trying to come back. It happens because Milan is good. Milan is good, and they capitalize.
We're not playing a bad team.
Yeah, we're not playing a bad team at all, and it's frustrating. But I actually think we're on the upswing. I think the early games sucked because we had Torino, who's way better now under Ivan Juric, by the way. And then we had Bologna, who we ended up drawing with. We had Salernitana that we couldn't beat, and we lost at home to Fiorentina, who's also a very new look Fiorentina squad, and it took 2 penalties from Dusan Vlahovic to be able for them to beat us. So I'm not super worried yet. The injuries do worry me a little bit because Hans Hateboer's out until November or December. Now Pessina's out until November or December. Oh, yeah. Gosens is out until November or December. So
it's a lot of injuries.
It's a lot of injuries.
It mounts up.
Yeah, but you guys need to watch out. Yeah.
I'm also very happy Pessina's not long, even longer term. We're very, very happy that it's not a really bad injury.
Yeah. What were you saying, Mas?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If anyone's seen the injury bug hit his team, it's been Roma.
Yeah,
you can't stay.
No, that's the problem. It's like Atalanta, a healthy Atalanta is a scary team to watch. They're still excited. They still play exciting football. It's only normal that there's some sort of regression when you're missing a lot of your key pieces in your starting lineup. So, I mean, at least it's not super long term. They'll be back within the month or the next. So it's a good sign. So, they're a team for me to watch. Obviously, I don't watch them as often, but I do like their brand of football. So I'm going to keep an eye out for them, especially that they're going to start getting healthy again. So it's going to be exciting to see. But that's the thing. If you're missing key pieces in your system, it's very hard to get the results you're used to seeing. So
2 teams to watch out to get hot. Atalanta and Juventus, baby. 2 teams.
I have to say, Cliff, when I see them playing really defensive and eking out 1-0 victories, I start to worry because it seems like Allegri is back.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get flashbacks of the old Allegri.
Yeah,
it's really exciting,
and it makes it hard to watch. Because it doesn't matter how poorly they're playing. They're going to win.
You know, it's weird because like it makes me happy, but also scared because I'm like, can they sustain this with the quality of their midfield? So, but he's such a great coach. I think he'll find a way.
Yeah, that Derby de la Mole was, of course, I was pulling for Torino just because I never want Juve to win.
That's fair.
Yeah, when Locatelli scored, I was like, of course he did.
I don't know what to expect with Juve, man. I'm not convinced, but it's still an early season.
It's okay.
7 games.
Hate on us, Jerry.
In, guys.
Be wary.
It's not about hate. It's not about hate. It's
early.
It's different. It's still early, but still, it's not 5 years ago where Juventus was the dominant force and there were 5 other shit teams. Juventus is not the dominant force right now, but they're still good. You can't underestimate them. But there are 5 other good teams beside them that they need to catch up on. And it's a balanced league where now it's a different scenario. And the team that Juventus had 5 years ago was way better. Better.
Absolutely.
Day and night, man. Like there were just so many factors that benefited Juve at a time where they dominated the league. And there was that year was Napoli was in the running for them and they pissed it under Sarri. So like
this is a mid-table side midfield, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I think that if there's ever a time that Milan or Napoli ever want to win a Scudetto, now is the time.
Yeah,
and I say that because should have been Lazio 2 years ago. I'll always hold that down, but circumstances, unfortunately, basically saved Juventus season. No, and I'm just gonna say that. I honestly believe that Napoli Napoli should do the same course what Lazio did 2 years ago. Tank the Europa League, get the heck out, focus on the league, and that's it. I think that you'll have a healthy Osimhen, you'll balance it better. I think the team is strong enough. They remind me of Lazio 2 years ago. They have enough depth. They got enough quality in the lineup on a weekly basis, once a week, to dominate the league. Milan, I think you can't tank if you're Milan. You want to get to that second round for Champions League. You want that money. Again, I don't think they're going to get it now because they got screwed the first 2 games. But I believe that Milan will get Europa League, and it's equally as important for them because of their financial issue. People say it's Europa League. Well, they get into the round of 32, they're still making some money. Every dollar counts. So I think if we really look at it, I think Napoli is in the driver's seat here. Then you got Inter, who you can't underestimate Inter. Like, just because they have Inzaghi doesn't mean anything. Given time, he will transition that team, and it'll be quicker than a lot of people think because he comes from a 3-5-2. Like, look at this scenario. Look at Roma. Don't count out Roma. I think Jose Mourinho is doing something good there where they have looked good every game, I guess. I think they were lucky, Lazio, because they didn't have Pellegrini. Like, it's a whole different game. They probably lose the game if they have Pellegrini. Like, we don't know. So I don't count Lazio in the conversation because I've come to the conclusion where we're on another level right now, and then you have Atalanta as well. Like Dan said, you don't know when this team can turn on. It can turn on for 10 straight games. So there's just so many ifs, and all these teams have to play each other still. That's another whack job. So
yeah, Napoli's schedule in November and December is pretty hefty. So we'll see how they do.
But the problem with Lazio, I think, more than anything, is one, you guys kept a lot of pieces moving forward with Sarri now at the helm, so that kind of helps because the players all know each other. It's more adapting to Sarri's system. The problem is the lack of spending on the depth that you would need to help with your team and rotating them out, so you don't run the same 11 guys into the ground.
I think we did a good job there. The only area where they keep on effing up is the back end. I don't know how you can continuously screw up season after season. They got midfielders, they got forwards, but somehow thought the back end was still fine when it was the worst area last year. Like this is. I was listening to Lazio Lounge, and I think the difference between Lazio and say Juventus, Roma, and Atalanta is there's a guy on the team that is vocal in the dressing room and says, "Hey, we're losing. Wake the F up." Like, there's someone who's pulling you to do better. Lazio does two good games, and we turn off. Marco Parolo said that. He was with Lazio for what, 6 years or 5 or 6 years, and he said every time we win 2 or 3 games, we turn off out of nowhere. And that's where a Cristiano Ronaldo last year, as much as we criticize him, he's so important because he understands what it means to like get in the dressing room and say, hey guys, we need to like win. We got to get going here. I think Pellegrini's maybe that guy on Roma where he goes in the dressing room. Let's just talk about Totti or De Rossi. Those guys are game changers where they get in the dressing room and they say, hey, we need to wake the F up, man. Like, those are guys who come in. Atalanta probably has, who would you say is for Atalanta, Dan? Like, who goes in and wakes everything up? I think Papu Gomez last year was kind of that guy.
He was the captain. He was the captain, but definitely it's guys like Rafa Toloi, Martin Deroux.
There you go.
Yeah,
we don't have that on our team.
It's the locker room chemistry, and just like the culture at the club. Like you're saying, like you need to have that guy, right? So
at Atalanta, you're going to get beat up by Gasperini if you don't perform. So I mean, there's always that.
There's always that.
There's nobody. I thought Lucas Leiva would be that guy, but like he's not anymore. And like Ciro Immobile, maybe he's too soft to be that guy in the dressing room where he snaps.
What about a Cherby?
No, he. Oh my God!
Really? He always struck me as that type.
That guy there is too nice, I think. Oh,
really?
Did you see the red card he took on Sunday?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
I think I'd be surprised if he's on Italy next year. Like, he is so bad this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, our worst defender. It is a blessing in disguise that he's not playing against Inter. And that's just how bad it is right now. Like, he has not looked good at all. There is not one game where this is what drives me nuts. Guys like Acerbi, who else? Bonucci, Chiellini, if you want to put it into that category, these kind of guys who are 30 plus years old, their fitness is no longer the same. Why are you playing high up the pitch every game and thinking you can run back like you're Hercules? Like, you gotta watch Acerbi play. He plays high up the pitch, and I blame this on Inzaghi because Inzaghi transform into this player last season where he can play anywhere he thinks he's a wing back. He still thinks he's a wing back in a 4-3-3.
Well, he had that goal against Atalanta. That was something else.
Yeah, that's right. But it just makes no sense. Like, you're a defender, play more centrally. Like, that's why Patrick has been maybe one of our best defenders, and it's sad because we rip on this guy religiously. And he's looked really good under Sarri, and maybe Sarri has somebody here that just works perfect where he plays a simple game, he doesn't get overcomplicated, and just stays back and does what is asked of him. He makes those long passes, he makes the quick passes, he covers his area, he doesn't get caught out of position. Like Luis Felipe and Cherby are so similar that they create space in the back end, and it's so annoying. You got Lazzari/Manisic who are still transitioning. I thought they would be the strongest side, but that hasn't been the case. I think Dan did.
I think we lost Mass.
What happened to Mass?
Sounds like we lost weight. We lost Mass.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I just
he quit on us.
I don't know.
Jerry, you're talking about a lot of defenders who played 3 at the back and who played wing back and are now transitioning into 2 central defenders and fullbacks. Mm-hmm. I know these guys are pros and, they go back and forth between their national teams, some of them, and they're playing different systems. But that's a big difference. You're talking Inzaghi's 3 at the back with wing backs. And, guys like Lazzari came from Spal and he played wing back. And that's why he got to Lazio and he was playing wing back. It's a totally different game. I think it's kind of like what Mass was saying. It's going to take some time for them to get under the Sarri system. Because unlike with Inter, with Inzaghi going there, just like you said, 3-5-2, right? The bones are the same. Maybe the intricacies are a little bit different. But here in Lazio, you have completely different bones and maybe completely different mentalities, right? So I don't know. I'm so bullish on this season because of what's happening right now. I think it's going to be a heck of a fight for the Serie A season. I mean, I always knew Napoli was going to be good, but I didn't expect them to go 7-0.
Even in the 3-5-2, he did the same thing. It drove me nuts. Like you just go all the way up and all the way back down. And
but you can do that. You can do that in a 3-5-2.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that fitness level to do that, man. Of course, he's dying in the back end, man. Like the guy's got leg problems because
Rafa Toloi does it for us all the time, you know. And he's a little bit younger, but like that's the beauty of that system playing three at the back is that you can activate a center defender, and the problem with Lazio is what I've seen in the past with Inzaghi as compared to the way that Gasperini runs his 3-4-3 is that we have Martin Darun who will drop deep to cover the advancing center backs, and that's usually Rafael Toloi or Remo Freuler will drop if Berat Jim City goes up. Lucas Leiva or Marco Parolo, those guys did not do it enough. They did not cover the center backs going up enough. And that's when you guys would get caught. So part of it is maybe the fitness of Acerbi being older. Come on, dude, he's a freaking cancer survivor. He's a freaking warrior. But you don't have the cover. You don't have the cover in the back.
You don't think Leiva was I thought Leiva was great, man. Like I guess in the latter years now that he's not the same player, but when he was
great though.
Yeah,
like,
he
was definitely.
But if you look at where he lines up, let's say one of your
he's higher up the pitch.
It's still higher up. He's not. There's not this understanding. Plus, so much of the play goes through Luis Alberto that when Lucas Leiva, he's already deep and he cycles and he's moving up. If you notice with Atalanta, there's more done in the double pivot with pushing the ball forward. So they're a little bit further back to start, and it allows the center back to go up, and there's not as much distance to travel for the double pivot. Just a little tactical change.
Oh, I don't know. Lazio's in a big transition change.
You guys will be fine. You guys will be fine.
If it doesn't work out with him,
the conference league is calling. Don't worry about it.
You'll be good. You'll stay middle of the pack. That's cool.
At the end of the day, man. Oh, we're not gonna make conference league. Not even that.
You don't think so?
Yeah, you could.
I don't know.
What do you guys get if you win the conference league? Do you get an automatic bid?
It's like $7 million. You can basically pay someone's salary.
But do you automatically get into the Europa League?
You automatically get into the Europa League. So it's kind of the same thing like Europa. You automatically qualify for Champions League and so on.
You get $7 million, which is like less than you get in one Champions League win.
It's basically
it's not great. Not great.
Are you excited to watch those conference league games, Mass, on Thursdays?
I've been watching them whenever I can get a stream on them because like it's not exactly easily accessible, right? Considering the teams are playing, but I managed to watch both legs against some random Ukrainian team and the last game against Zoraya where we actually dominated them, and the team looks good. I mean, look, it's good to see how Mourinho kind of handles those games because he kind of rotates in some of the younger players. So you kind of get to see a good look on them on like a, I guess, relatively big international stage, I guess. So, but yeah, no, it's all right. I mean, it's just a good look for coaches to kind of like, especially for certain size teams to just kind of rotate the younger guys into the squad. So it's all right. I mean, they're exciting games to watch. I mean, Roma's been pretty much in form, right? Besides the Lazio loss, so it's just exciting to see us actually bully smaller teams around for once.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I noticed on the Zone Canada, they don't have all the conference league games. But if anybody who has one of those converter VPNs and decides to use the Zone Italy, I know that they have all the coverage for all the leagues. Specifically in Italy, though, but I know that through people that they show all of them. So every country, I think, has different rights based on the zone. But for the most part, I haven't really watched Conference League. But
I think it's a great concept. I think it's super dope because I think Europa League is a pretty exciting league. You get these like weird teams that you've never heard of. It's just great for education, and you get some of these cool stories of teams going through. Like, when we first made it to Europe for the first time in a long time, when we were in the Europa League, like I really, really wanted to win that that trophy. I was super excited to be in the Europa League. I was almost more excited to be in the Europa League than I was in the Champions League. But we got drawn Borussia Dortmund, and even though we finished first in our group, so we kind of got screwed in the round of 32. We draw a Champions League team, even though we finished first in our group. And there were great. We won 5-1 away at Everton. Like that was just an amazing year. I think that was the 2017-2018 season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the comment there, the way that we do business at Atalanta, that's absolutely. And as long as our president Percasti is there, that's gonna keep on happening. And as long as we have that youth academy, that basically, I mean, sure, we have Piccoli now who's playing for us, and we have a couple of good young guys, but that's also just a cash cow for us. I mean, Kulusevski to you guys, Cliff, and then we had Diallo to Man United, barely played at all for us, and combined, what's that, like 60 million? And then they played like less than 60 minutes for the first team. So I think that Atalanta, the model should definitely be something that is looked at for other teams to emulate.
Well, who was the manager on what's his name? The guy in Sampdoria. Can't remember his name now. It's
Damsgaard.
No, the manager on Sampdoria. Oh. He was on Parma. What's his name?
Diversa.
I think he's the only guy who's known how to use Kulusevski. Kulusevski. I'm sorry. Like, seriously, and no disrespect to Juventus. I know that he's not played in position properly, whatever it may be. For some reason, if you go look at the last 2-3 seasons of how he's played, I thought that at Parma he should have stayed there. I would have liked him to just play under God damn, I forgot his name just now again. Just one blank. Diversa. But I think that he would have done much better under Diversa. He was using him properly. Like, he was a key player under Diversa in order to help Parma. And then he went back. He was finished on loan and went back to Atalanta, was sold. Maybe he should have stayed at Atalanta. I think that could have helped him as well. Goes to Juventus, is not even used right. It's more of a Juventus bought player, kind of like just being bought because he was good at the time. And Juventus is, maybe we'll get Cliff on this now because Cliff is licking his lips because it's Juventus talk now.
Cliff got to go, but I'm gonna ask him, go, worth the money, Kulusevski?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, no,
we'll
not worth it all.
We'll take him back for $3 million.
Exactly. The thing is, like, now you're stuck with a guy who you spend so much on, and now you're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of him because you're like, we spent all this money, we have to get something out of him, or it's a waste. We wasted however much money. What is it, like 50 mil or 60 mil? You have to get use out of this guy, and I think there's potential there.
Cliff, I'm gonna bring you on the Atalanta pod, and we're gonna discuss how we always screw you guys over with transfers.
I'd love to. It would be
like an hour. Pleasure. All right, so I'll
just saying that just to make you feel better. That's all.
No, because he seems like such a nice guy, and he'll agree with me that we buy Christian Romero for 16 million and then sell him to the same guy who sold us to us for 55. How beautiful! Paratici screwed you guys.
It's better when other people burn people.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit nicer when Dan does it because you're mean to me, Jerry. But Dan's being a little bit nice. Jerry,
you got to learn how to be nice when you're mean.
Remember that time when you guys thought that Christian Romero was crap and you sold him to Atalanta, and Atalanta said, hey, you douchebags, we're going to send it to Tottenham and we're going to make double or triple. And we banked in, and you guys are still scrunching for pennies.
What bothers me is I really liked him. What bothers me is I wanted him to come back to Juve. I wanted him to be paired with De Ligt because I knew there was potential there. I'm like, why are you doing this? And then they flip him. I'm like, classic Juve.
Watch us with Demirel too. Watch Demirel be the next one.
No, Demirel's garbage. Screw that guy.
No, Demirel's crazy. Demirel's crazy.
I don't know. You think he's great?
I think he'll be all right. He'll be fine at Atalanta. I just don't think he was gonna get the time at Juve to develop to what he should be. So
I don't know. I thought I liked him at Juve, but I don't know. I'm up and down that guy.
Bye, Cliff. Thanks for your money.
I gotta go though.
Go. No worries.
Take your money anytime.
Keep in touch. Plug in, Cliff. Plug in your handle. where can people find you, man? Don't dip out without people not knowing who the hell you are.
Thanks so much. I didn't want to be a diva and be like, I gotta go, guys, peace. But like, I got something else I gotta do. But thank you guys so much again for having me. I'm part of the All Juve Cast. You can find us at All Juve Cast on YouTube, on Twitter. We have content coming out. I believe tomorrow morning we're doing an Azzurri stream. I will be on it tomorrow morning. I'll be wearing the same jersey, so don't kill me for wearing the same thing twice. Yeah, exactly. You can find me at Cliff Esmiol on Twitter and Instagram. And we got some really exciting stuff at All Juve Cast. So thank you guys so much for the opportunity, and you guys have a good night.
Take care, Cliff.
Good night, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for leaving with the Canadians.
I'm sorry.
Americans dropping like flies.
Oh, finally, guys! Now we don't have
one.
Less thieves in this group. we don't need all these Juventus thieves in this group, man.
I wanted to chime in on it when you had made your comment about how your dad says Italy gets dicked over by the refs during international competitions and Juve buying games. It's like the three certainties in football. Italian teams getting dicked by refs, Juve paying the refs off, and Napoli with balanced books. So
yeah. It's the culture version of death and taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Oh, let's ask Dan. We'll end it. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Like, I'm different compared to other pods.
Any big matchups coming up for you guys for Atalanta, Dan? Because I kind of took a look at the schedule quickly on Monday for the last pod I was on, but I didn't really see Atalanta come up against the teams we were discussing. But
we have Lazio on October 30th, but the big game is, of course, on the 20th. We got United at Old Trafford, and Atalanta fans have been allotted 3,600 seats, so that's kind of a big deal. So we'll see what goes down. There's also, hopefully we can fill that. But yeah, so I mean, we have back-to-back. Well, I mean, there's a few weeks in between, but we have Man United away and home, so that's going to be big. We have Lazio on the 30th, which is going to be big, and then we have Juve on the 27th of November.
Are you home that game?
No, we're at for Lazio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're home, right?
You guys are visiting.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's weird, man. Normally it's Lazio who gets home on the Saturday, and it's really different. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then Napoli on the 4th of December. So since we've played Inter and Milan already, and we've actually had our pretty rough period. So we're going through a little bit of a better schedule patch. So we'll see what happens. Mass, I remember when I was on my podcast and we were predicting things that would happen this Serie A season. I said that Roma would start out really fast. Do you feel like that's actually the case? I also said that maybe they would dip a little bit in the end, but I felt like you guys were going to come out strong.
The only way we came out like we got shot out of a cannon. Like the form we're in's been incredible, despite the loss to Lazio. But that loss just goes to show how important Pellegrini is to our team, because it was like night and day. The next game we played Empoli and we just cruised to an easy 2-0 win against them.
It's also the derby, right? Derby's,
it's a bit
out the window.
It left a bitter taste in my mouth, but I mean, look, we were missing a very important piece to our team. We saw how important he was when he wasn't there, and Pellegrini is that piece. Is it gonna be? I don't think no team, no matter how hot their start is, I don't think can kind of keep up that kind of pace, unless you're like the Arsenal Invincibles, like from way back, like. It's a very tough pace to keep up. So I see us dipping at some point, but not. It'll be like any rough patch a team goes through. I don't think it'll be the miserable kind of dips we've seen in the past years with Roma, where we just hit a rough patch and it just snowballs into like one worse result after another. So I think we'll be all right. Look, I'm gonna ride the wave. I went into this season with no expectations because we did get Mourinho. He's a great coach, but you never know what you're gonna get with his team, especially that he's coming to Roma, where we're kind of recovering from the past era's mistakes and past ownership. So he knows it's a project, and you know what? I really like the direction this team is going in. We finally have an identity too. We're seeing that more with Mourinho there. He's really helped form a team identity that we were lacking under the likes of Fonseca. So you know what?
Just play former Atalanta players in the middle. That's all.
Yeah, you know. No, but I got, you know what it is with Cristante. I think he was an attacking mid for you guys, right?
Yeah, he was a trequartista for sure.
Yeah, I don't know why they feel the need to constantly put him as a center defensive mid or keep playing him out of position, or you really want to get exotic like Fonseca and play him as a center back.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting to see. So
I was really, really upset when Brian Cristante left, and this was what, 3 seasons ago now, and this is before we were really successful in the Champions League, and so that we could actually keep players.
Of course.
And then he was like the butt of a lot of jokes for Roma fans, like the ire of him. And I'm thinking to myself, you're playing him in a double pivot, and then now you're playing him as a center back. His best position when he was at Atalanta, at least, was as a trequartista, a very strange trequartista, like not your prototypical.
No, for sure.
But he's like the king of late runs into the box, right? He kind of reminds me of like Matteo Pessina, what Matteo Pessina offers. So, and with the guy who I'm really surprised with is Roger Ibanez. I really liked him. He never got a sniff. And what he's kind of been able to do at Roma, I'm really shocked about Roger Ibanez, to be honest with you. I thought you guys were crazy to pay that money.
No, he's been solid. He's been solid. He's young also, I think, right? Yeah. He's like what, mid-20s, maybe younger.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have time to grow. And if anything, we want that kind of youth in the back line, because like our back line's been pretty shambolic in the past seasons. Like we couldn't keep anyone healthy. Yeah. But I like Ibanez. Ibanez has been one of like my brighter spots as well from the last year coming into this year. So it's nice to see some kind of continuity in the backfield with Mancini partnered up with Ibanez. So
that comment about Cristante's shot that David had put up there, we always used to make jokes about it, because now I make a joke that Davide Zappacosta's crosses are like Brian Cristante's shots. They're all grass cutters. He doesn't know how to do anything but cut grass.
And it's funny. I think, wasn't it against Atalanta last year where he got like a one from distance on Golini? He caught him sleeping from like 45 yards out.
Oh, that was the worst.
I was so angry that game watching Cristante, and I see him take this shot from 45 yards out, and I'm like, there's no way he's scoring.
Yeah.
And I had my hands on my head. I'm like, I can't believe he scored from 45 yards out like that. Like,
that was my birthday. That was my birthday. Yeah. So
happy birthday from Brian Cristante.
And of course, I think that was the game where Robin Gosens got a red card. I think we were all over you guys. And then
it was bad. It was like I was having a miserable time watching that game. It was so bad.
I was like, I was having a great birthday watching this, and then Brian Cristante with a worldie at the very end to tie it up. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm out. Peace.
You guys are reminiscing.
Yeah, it's like the old times, Jerry.
Yeah.
To now an hour and a half. Now I'm starting to drain out.
All right,
I'm becoming like Alex now.
Should we call it?
I'm gonna ask a final question. It's gonna be non-football. I'm getting off football now. I've already asked all my last 2 questions and anything you have to ask. You guys have anything else to plug in about anything you want to talk about, or you're good?
Nope, we're good.
No, we're good.
Mortadella. Are you a fan of Mortadella, Dan?
The debate.
The debate's gonna this debate's gonna go on from pod to pod. I don't care. Do you like Mortadella?
Are you asking me first, or are you asking Mass?
No, Dan, you go in. This is a redux of Monday night's podcast.
Oh, okay. Which I was listening to. I hadn't gotten that far yet. So here's the deal, right? Mortadella, I love, but I think it's one of the lowest of the salumi. You know what I mean? Because salumi is amazing, all of it, and so by default, mortadella is amazing. But if you gave me a choice on what I was going to have, capicola or mortadella, I'd be like, well, is that even a choice? Like, what am I going to get? Give me cotechini or some sort of dry salame or something like that. Yeah, I'll pick that over mortadella. My wife, on the other hand, she's not Italian. She loves the stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Because you like bologna. You like bologna. That's why you like mortadella.
Mortadella is fancy bologna. That's all.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There's a rule with mortadella now. I have a rule, and I think that the rest of the guys actually agreed. Mortadella has a time frame of when you can eat it. The day of, it's great. It's fresh. Anything fresh is great. But when you eat prosciutto 5 days later, it still tastes amazing. It doesn't matter. When you eat mortadella 3 days later, it tastes like horse's ass. Well, I don't know what horse's ass tastes like, but it tastes really bad. Like, it's just got this raunchy taste to it. I think 2 days max is pushing it for mortadella. After that, throw it in the garbage because it smells and it tastes bad, and it just that's my rule of mortadella. Like,
is there any like actual Italians who are just like really like, if you ask this question, they're just no, mortadella is the best? Like, I mean,
no, I enjoy mortadella within context. I mean, you're always gonna have differing opinions on salumi across the board with Italians, right? Who prefers like a capicola or a sopressata or something spicy, or or like a prosciutto, but within the right context, I think mortadella is a very, very good salumi. Like example, I don't know if any of you have been overseas to Italy, but inside a nice slice of pizza bianca, like toasty, crispy, warm, and then you got everything else in there. It's very hard to beat. But like Jerry said, there is a time frame. Like, you got within like the first 2 days, and then if it sits in the fridge too long, it does taste off. Yeah, it's not the same, and it has to be paper thin. Anything thick cut mortadella, then you get the thick cut mortadella. It's just weird. You got to have it paper thin. You got to be able to see almost through it and hold it to the light, you know?
With any salumi, like,
for sure.
When I see this thick cut stuff, I'm like, what are you people smoking? Like, I don't understand. The only salumi that can be thick cut for me is prosciutto cotto, because then you can like sear it like Spam, you know. Sure. So I think that's the only time. I think Spam is actually pretty good. So
Spam,
I've yet to try any. So
I don't eat Spam.
I'm half Filipino. That's probably why. So you
explains. Let us know, guys. Let us know who's ever in this chat group, on Twitter, CalcioCom Pod. How do you feel about mortadella? Because this is going to be. I'm going to be asking. You know how people ask
mortadella debate that's going to take onto Twitter. I can't wait.
I'm going to take it on actually, because everyone talks about pineapple on pizza. I don't think it's a murder, pineapple on pizza. There's a Fortino's we have here, and they actually, when I was working there was pineapple on pizza. Now, I never bought a pineapple pizza to bring home. I've had slices, and it doesn't taste bad. I know a lot of people are against pineapple on pizza. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'll eat it if it's there. But it's not as bad as people say it is. But I guess it's a crime in Italy. Yeah, I guess it's just not. It's something you don't do. But I
burn you at the stake.
We have Nutella pizza here. We were doing.
I'm gonna weigh in on this with pineapple on pizza. Right? Is that the way that we do pineapple on pizza in North America is terrible. Chunks of pineapple. If you get fresh pineapple and you shave it and you put it on pizza. Right? Like, again, thinly cut. So you get the sweetness and the acidity to cut the richness. And you add pickled red onion onto it. You're done. I'm telling you right now, that is totally acceptable. Of course, you still have to have a good pizza with good crust, all that kind of stuff. But when you order a Hawaiian pizza or whatever the hell they call it it's like you throw avocado on anything, it's California. You throw pineapple, it's Hawaiian. Order it at Domino's or whatever. It's a crime. I think it's a crime. But if you do it right, we could change minds. Guys.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Paper thin, fresh pineapple and pickled red onion.
And put some mortadella on that.
I bet it would be delicious. I don't
know. My dad makes pizzas like with his prosciuttos he makes. They come out amazing. Yeah. Like, he does it perfect, and it's like, wow. I think we'll wrap it there, guys. Plug away, man. Mass, I'll start with you.
So you can find me on the handles you see. Hold on, I'm trying to get the right thing going there. The handles there, Mass148, and my Instagram. Also got a podcast in the works with my good friends at the Daily Steaks, so keep an eye out for that. I'll be tweeting that out. It's going to be mostly focused on North American sports, but I will probably start a Discord to kind of keep the Serie A faithful interested on that front as well. So keep an eye out for that. And Dan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Atalanta_Vegas. I do live in Las Vegas. And you can also follow the podcast, the Atalanta Pod, at Atalanta Pod. I do that pod with my buddy Nick, who is at Atalanta Passion. You can follow him. He does a lot of analytical articles about Atalanta. So, yeah, give us a listen. New podcast is probably going to drop tomorrow morning, and you'll be interested, Jerry. I rant about Gasparini in this podcast. So give it a listen. When you asked me last night if I wanted to be on the pod, I was like, I'm going to have to delay the release of the pod just in case, see what Jerry asks me for to see if I have to add anything to it. But you were nice. You were nice today, Jerry. Thank you. You're very kind.
Well, I'm gonna say everybody knows I rather just release it on Twitter and that's it. It's much better, man. I just give him fingers and that's it. I don't hate Atalanta. I think the team. I don't hate the team, but I hate the manager.
He's not. He's not a cuddly uncle.
No, he's not.
He's definitely not. He's not the Zio you go and hug with open arms, you know?
He's the prime example of Twitter where he likes to dish, and as soon as Twitter comes back at him, it's like, oh, no.
I have to say, Mass, he's more like my Zios than the cuddly. I don't have very cuddly Zios.
No, it all depends, you know?
They're all just like this, you know? So
the stoic, just sitting there, like, waiting to catch you lacking.
Yeah.
And you can find me at jmancini8 at CalcioCompod. Guys, thank you.
Verified Jerry Mancini.
Yeah, I forget I'm verified.
We always knew he was certifiable, but it was a shock to all
that
of
middle
us when he was
finger's got a blue check now. Finally, it's been long overdue. I'm so happy.
I'm noticing a lot of people are getting blue check marks. I'm happy for everybody, but
handing them out like candy.
Yeah, I noticed that they're handing them out like candy. Exactly. So like the whole point of being verified is like kind of losing its meaning. But again, whatever Twitter wants to do, that
well deserved, Jerry. Whatever that means, well deserved.
Yeah, whatever it means. It's a blue check mark. I don't get paid anything though. That's the crappy part.
Maybe who knows?
I don't know. No, I don't want a job in this field, man. Like that's another debate for another day. But this is I don't want.
Sure? I ranted about that too on the next episode of the Atalanta Pod a little bit. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to. Before we go, I would never want a job in sports. I'm sorry. Everybody who's getting in right now, good luck to you. I wish you all the best. I don't mean hate or anybody. Like, and a shout out to Sean McIntosh. He deserves a shout out because
100%
a true Laziale, and maybe you, Dan. I don't know the actual name of his job, but he just got. I think
Chief Fan Officer.
Chief Fan Officer.
I saw CFO. I was like, damn, McIntosh, look at you, Chief Financial Officer. And I was like, Chief Fan Officer. Actually, that's kind of cooler. So
that is cooler. Yeah.
And it's the first ever to be given this job. I thought that this was the best part. I saw a tweet where it's I think it was by Sean or by the actual Charlotte account, where it's the first ever Chief Fan Officer account, like kind of job position, where he is the sole person of the account for Charlotte to basically promote them, do the bantering, do whatever it does to bring the fans in, to kind of get the group going. I think his job, correct me if I'm wrong, is like he's trying to build a fan base for this team now because it's an expansion team. I had to do some digging up on Charlotte. I didn't know who Charlotte was and who he was working for, but it's an MLS team. Next season will be their first season. I think that's very encouraging to see that. I think there's two positives. Charlotte gets a team, their own official team, and I think it's pretty encouraging for the city where I don't even think they have their NBA team right now, do they? Or is it back, Charlotte?
No, they're still there.
They're still there. Oh, okay, so now they got an NBA team, and in addition, now they have a soccer team as well / football. So I think that's pretty encouraging for the city and for the fans.
Don't the Carolina Panthers play there too? So they have an NFL team.
They've got an NFL.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
it's a big city, Charlotte. Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's just exciting for Sean because he's very passionate about football, and if you guys don't follow him, he's a fantastic person. I don't know his pod handle actually off the top of my head, but I think it's at Sean McIntosh, if I'm not mistaken. But a guy who's worked hard. He started his own Lazio pod, and he did the I think he did the AHL affiliate for
the Carolina Hurricanes,
and Tampa Bay, I believe, or was Tampa in their affiliate, but Norfolk. So
Norfolk Admirals,
yeah. So congratulations, Sean. Well, hardworking person.
I miss you in Vegas, Sean.
Deserved.
Yeah, I miss you in Vegas, buddy. But good job.
Because like getting that kind of job is not easy, and I couldn't imagine how many people he was competing against, and it just shows like hard work does pay off. And then another shout out is to Martino Puccio, who also got a job, and he announced it a few hours ago. He is a chief editor for. Hold on, I'm giving shout outs to everybody tonight. Shit, man, I don't know what the hell. I guess I'm in a good mood. Oh, not Bob Marley. Miss Marley. Martino. Here we go. So Martino is writing for a site called 137 PM, and he is the football soccer content editor and creator, and another person who is going to be working in football field and getting his chance to kickstart his career. He's still in his 20s. He's young, and I wish the best to both you guys. Like I said, I know people who work in the industry here who are writers and get paid $30,000 a year, and 40,000 base. Like, and for me, who wants to start a family, it's just in our living circumstances, it's kind of hard. But I don't know how it is, and I don't want to discourage anybody because it could be different in North America, in the States or wherever you are. You may get an opportunity that works out. But I just feel like after the pandemic, I just noticed that industry is so unstable that I'm fortunate to be working for Frito-Lay, where my job is secure and people need food every day. And what I'm able to do is security. I don't know what you guys do for a living. I don't ask people. I think that's more personal level. But again, this is not to knock anybody down. It's just my kind of experience now, and everybody has a different passion, a different way. So congratulations to Sean and Martino, and good luck to your new roles.
Bravo.
And
Bravo.
and yeah, fuck Milan. Anyways, guys, Thank you for watching, listening, wherever you are, and I hope you guys have a great night. And Azzurri will come back on Sunday. Don't worry.
All right, ciao, tifosi.
Ciao.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye. And Mafangulo Roma.